monster is back. The monster is looking to devour another opponent and add another soul to his already impressive collection of accolades and knockouts galore. And his opponent this time, TJ Doheny, or Doheny. I believe I'm saying his name correct. If not, please correct me in the comments below. But either way, still, how is this fight going to go and what is going to transpire? Well, who is TJ Doheny? First and foremost, Doheny, 26-4, 20 KOs. The brother for the division is a great puncher, great knockout artist. This is a man who, again, had lost against Sam Goodman, who was another top 10, top 5 contender, but since then has gone on a 3-fight knockout win streak, now coming in, even though he's older, looking to make one last grasp at being a world champion, going up against arguably the best of a generation in Naoya Inoue. But what is it that he can do to face off against somebody to even hurt somebody of the caliber of Inoue? Well, like we said before, he's got power. Those 20 KOs aren't a fluke. In his last fight on the prelim card of Inoue versus Neary, we saw Doheny hurt and KO his opponent to the body. That was the thing. And so he's got some real great power, is adept at both head and body attack. He is more defensive than Neary. Let's get that straight. Remember the fight with Inoue versus Neary when Neary was more so of a come forward heavy punch type fighter. Yes, more athletic, understandable. Had more pop. Yes, he did. No doubt about it. But in terms of just skill set defensively, Doheny is more defensively sound. He's more defensively adept and having a more nuanced array in his ability to counter. He could give some legitimate problems. But outside of that, there's not really much that he can do. Against Inoue? No. It's not really much he can do against Inoue. Because Inoue, for all accounts, is leagues bound better than Doheny. Way better than TJ. And it's because TJ isn't fast, can somewhat be flat-footed, uses head movement way too much and not uses guard, and then vice versa. If Doheny uses his guard, he doesn't move his head. So it's like it's a catch-22. He can't really do both at a high level. He'll do one or the other. What I hate about TJ is the fact that he has that guard and that jab out, especially when he's trying to probe and gain distance and essentially stiff arm you off balance. This will be his set pose, and he'll keep his head on one center line, or at least on one line angled down. And he'll rely on his athleticism and his instinctual movement to be able to get out the way when necessary. But against Inoue, that's not going to happen. You get into that same position, that same posturing pose with your jab out in one hand using as your guard, trying to rely on just head movement alone to keep you safe and while scoring, Inoue's going to kill you to kingdom come. Inoue's going to knock you out and take you out easily. That's one of the biggest things in this game. As though he's more defensively nuanced than what we saw from Inoue's last fight with Neary. In terms of Neary being Inoue's opponent, TJ, while he's got more defensive tools, the brother still doesn't use it correctly. And he's been using it for so long that right now, nobody's been able to, well, people haven't been able to capitalize, don't get me wrong. But against somebody like Inoue, it's going to be easy pickings for him to be able to pick apart and destroy and just outright knock out. And it was too fast, too powerful. There are too many times when we see TJ want to use and slip and get cute when he's moving his head, instead of actually shelling up and doing the proper blocking technique. And since that's the case, we know Inoue, with his ability to box and fight at the highest of levels, there is no weakness in his offensive game, and his defensive game is sublime. His defensive game is indeed sublime. There's nothing that TJ is going to be able to do to have any form of success against Inoue. The only thing is maybe try to rough him up because he has some legitimate strength to him. Get on the inside and wear him down with your physicality. But again, Inoue, being pound for pound, one of the stronger fighters in the world, I don't think it's going to work either. He won't even let you be able to get up and clinch him, though he wants to stay in the fire. And if he does stay in the fire, one of the biggest things that TJ does like to do is trade. If you are Inoue, you should look to do that too. Because I'm willing to bet that TJ's power is not what you faced against Neary. And the speed at which TJ likes to fight, there's no way he's catching you in a trade situation. You are going to be able to hit him while getting out of the way at the same time, while still being able to stay in the pocket. And there's going to be nothing he can do. It'll be outright destruction. oblivion. There'll be nothing that TJ will be able to do. He will be outboxed. He will be outgunned. And this is the biggest thing with TJ when he goes in the fight. If you have some legitimate power, he will get hesitant. He will look to be more defensive than he needs to be in terms of overly anticipating what you're going to do. And since that happens, you will see him potentially freeze up of his own volition, trying to bait out something in you. But if you try to play that game against Inoue will just straight up come out and hit you with the right straight, or hit you with the uppercut, or hit you with the left hook, any punch that he deems as desirable. And you won't be able to react to it. And you will get knocked out. The very thing that you try to do to say, if I can bait somebody with power, I can land with power of my own, that's going to be the very thing that ends you in this fight if you're TJ. There's no way in the world that TJ is going to be able to win this. And we will see, most likely, Inoue knock out TJ in a very spectacular fashion. For official prediction, we'll see Inoue knock out TJ potentially in 5 rounds. We may see a similar situation to Paul Butler in terms of cowering in the corner and just being too scared of the power and the trade and just succumbing to the outright onslaught that Inoue will bring to the table. If he's tough, he'll get knocked out in 8. But either way, he's getting knocked out before 10 rounds.